What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Full 90. It is time for week 10 of the Premier League, and I just want to say a massive shout out to all of you for the support on the recent videos. We're getting very, very close to 22,000 subscribers, so if you do want to see these videos on a regular basis, be sure to drop a like down below as YouTube sees that as you wanted to see more, and subscribe so you don't miss any of them. We haven't actually finished the Champions League or anything like that, but on Monday we did have a pretty nice accumulator. It was £200, returns £3,000, Leicester and Udinese to win, and then Rayo Vallecano and Bordeaux's game in Ligue 2 to have over 2.5 goals. Now, I was actually one goal away from 10,000 because we did have £100 on a result on both teams to score treble of the top three that you see: Leicester, Udinese, and Rayo Vallecano. 2-2-1s for Udinese and Vallecano, and Leicester finished 4-0. So if Nottingham Forest actually put one of their chances away, would have been looking a lot better. But of course, that came from a previous bet and everything like that. So pretty cool. I'm really enjoying the Super Brew version of these videos actually because it feels more interactive. Rather than me sat here editing it in post-production, I can sort of go through with you live and just have a bit more of a chat about everything. So I really like the way that we're doing things here. So be sure to head over to Super Brew. You can put your own predictions in and everything like that. But let's get started with the Week 10 Premier League predictions. Also, I will say quickly, another good prediction was Harry Kane to score and Arsenal to win in the North London derby. We had West Ham to win 0 as well. Man City to win and both teams to score was another good one. And then, of course, actually backing Leicester to get a good win. Now, first game, it doesn't get better than this, realistically. You've got some crazy value here. Bournemouth at the Vitality Stadium. Bournemouth currently in 13th place, but definitely flattered by that position. Leicester currently in 19th, but with a win here could hop out of the relegation zone. And I'm going to go for exactly that. Bournemouth at home, 10 to score. Leicester, 10 to concede. Should have conceded against Nottingham Forest, but I'm going to go for a 3-1 win to Leicester. I know a lot of teams do go to the Vitality Stadium and struggle, but Leicester's team, as we saw from that Forest game, are a level above the likes of Bournemouth and Nottingham Forest. And a win at 2.05 is crazy value, so that is going to be my tip. Leicester to win at 2.05. Coming up after that, it is Chelsea up against Wolves, and Chelsea, they got the win against Crystal Palace. That was another big win. From the last Premier League predictions video, actually, if you watched all the way to the end, I'll probably do it at the end of this video as well. I made an accumulator, and basically, I predicted that Chelsea would win, Arsenal and Tottenham would have both teams to score, and Leicester would win for a treble. And I know at least a couple of you got on that accumulator and were very happy. So we'll try and make another Premier League treble at the end of this video. But nevertheless, I'm going to go for Chelsea to win 2-0. Fairly convincing, but Wolves games are always very low scoring. They're probably not going to score. My tip is Chelsea to win and under 3.5 goals at 1.95. That was an absolute staple of the past. Came in more often than not. And when Chelsea do win, it tends to be under 4 goals. They don't usually go crazy. And against Wolves, who, if you look at their games, 2 goals, 3 goals even with Man City, 1 goal, no goals, 2 goals, 1 goal, no goals. So they haven't had more than 3.5 goals in any of their games. And Chelsea's games, if you look here, all of them, apart from the Tottenham 2-2 draw, have been under 4 goals. And it's not going to be a 2-2 draw. So I think under 4 goals and Chelsea win at nearly 2 is very, very good value. Moving on, Manchester City up against Southampton. I say it every week. It happens every week. Haaland's going to score. Man City going to win. Now, they don't have... I would say Southampton do better against Man City than a lot of teams at Southampton's level. But I think Southampton are having a really tough season this year. And they're looking like they could be the third candidate to get relegated. I think at this point in time, you would probably say relegation favourites are Forest and Bournemouth, and then that third spot is open for anyone, and I think Southampton could be the team that falls into that position. I'm going to go for a 5-0 win to City. I actually correctly predicted Bayern Munich to beat Victoria Pilsen 5-0 in the Champions League. So that was an interesting one. Haaland's going to score. My tip is over 3.5 goals at 1.72. I could see this being 4-0. I could see it being 3-1, but it's at the Etihad. I'm going for 4 hat-tricks in a row for Erling Haaland. I actually hadn't thought about that, but yeah, let's go for it. 4 Erling Haaland hat-tricks in a row. They also haven't played Copenhagen yet, but I think Haaland will score at least once in that game too. Newcastle Brentford after that is going to be an interesting game. I'm going for a Newcastle win. Absolutely dispatching of Fulham. I know the red card helped things, but Newcastle were the better team. They finally got that result, and now I think after winning at Craven Cottage, was it at Craven Cottage? I think it was. And then going back to St. James's Park against the Brentford side, who have started to slip a little bit, is a perfect storm for an entertaining Newcastle win. And the odds here, Newcastle to win 1.79, good enough for me. I'm going for that Newcastle win because Callum Wilson is back, and when he plays at St. James's Park, he usually scores, and Brentford have been kind of struggling lately, drawing 0-0 against Bournemouth. losing to Arsenal. Who did they beat there? They beat Leeds 5-2, but, you know, whatever. They drew with Palace, drew with Everton. I think Newcastle are looking better than them, and I think the odds reflect that fairly well. Now, after this, Brighton Tottenham. This is a very, very difficult one. At the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, I'd probably go for a 2-1 win to Tottenham, but Tottenham looked quite toothless in the Champions League, and I don't think they looked very good against Arsenal at all, and Brighton will be absolutely buoyed by their performance against Liverpool. So I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw. I don't know if that's controversial. I'm struggling to pick a winner between the two sides. It should be Tottenham, but with Brighton's recent form, you got to look at Brighton as well. 2-2 draw. My tip is both teams to score at 1.7. That means it could end 1-1. It could end 2-1 either way. The result isn't the massively important thing, and I found it difficult to predict a result. Wasn't brave enough to go for a Brighton win, but Tottenham, I'd have to see them beat Brighton before I'm confident that they can do it, if that makes any sort of sense. Now, another difficult one to predict is Crystal Palace up against Leeds. I'll go for a 1-1, but Palace should win this. However, I don't think they will. They've had a tough start to the season, and I think I'd imagine their expected points are probably higher than their actual points that they've got. Palace should win this one. It should be 2-1, but something's telling me they're just going to fall short. So I have tipped a draw here, 3.39, but I'd struggle to back that on the basis that I think Palace should win, and if they are going to win, I could see it being at Selhurst Park. You know what? Let's do it. Let's do it. Ignore the draw tip. My tip, I guess, I'm just going to leave this game alone. To offer 10 out of 10 tips is tough. I initially tipped draw, but I'm going to blank that and put Palace to win 2-1. If it does end 1-1, I'll be kicking myself. But maybe both teams to score, but then I can't be sure of that either. So I'll go 2-1 just because I think Palace should win. But I really think it could be a draw. But I think Palace should win. So we'll go with a Palace 2-1 win. I'm not going to think too much about it because I'll flip-flop either way. West Ham Fulham. I think West Ham are going to win. West Ham got the win against Wolves as expected. Fulham couldn't beat Newcastle. I did say Newcastle would beat Fulham with both teams scoring. I just didn't think it would be 4-1. I predicted a 2-1 to Newcastle. I think Fulham have been found out a little bit. Mitrovic came off injured. I don't know the latest updates on that. I'm going to go for a 2-0 win to West Ham. I think it will click for them once again. My tip is West Ham to win at 1.74. I think that's good enough. I think they're going to win. Now this one, Arsenal-Liverpool, the recent history between the two, it's all Liverpool. It's absolutely crazy how good Liverpool have been against Arsenal. And every single game, as an Arsenal fan, I go into it thinking Liverpool are going to win. Not this time. My tip isn't in the result market because I don't have the balls to do it. But as you can see, the bookies can't separate them. If anything, Arsenal slight favourites, and that is, of course, fully the home advantage. But the Emirates is a tough place to go, and Liverpool have not been looking great lately. This is the most belief Arsenal have that they can beat Liverpool. This is slightly Arsenal fan hope. I'm going for a 2-1 Arsenal win. But in case Liverpool go crazy and click into the Liverpool that we've come to expect over recent years, I do still think Arsenal will score. So my tip is both teams to score and over 2.5 goals at 1.83. And that will probably be one that goes into my treble, because unlike other years where Liverpool have destroyed Arsenal, I mean, the record speaks for itself. Played well in that 3-1 United win, but it is what it is. Destroyed Brentford, destroyed Tottenham, and just ultimately, we played better in these two wins than we did in these two wins here. We're in great form. Liverpool, not so much. So I'm going for an Arsenal win. After that, it's Everton up against Manchester United. Everton not in terrible form, to be fair. They've been doing all right. Man United need to bounce back off of that Man City derby, the Man United derby. Manchester derby, I should say. I'm going to go for a Man United win, but I'm not certain. It could be 0-0, 1-1, something like that. I'm going to go for a 1-0 United win, and my tip is Man United double chance and under 3.5 goals, because that pays 1.72. So that means it could end 1-2, 3-0 to Man United, 2-1 to Man United, 1-0 to Man United, 0-0, or 1-1. I don't expect Man United to lose again. I think that would be quite surprising. So I'm going to go for a 1-0 win to Manchester United. Nottingham Forest Villa, I was going to go for a 1-1. I was going to go for, a draw. But I think Villa are just going to shade it because Forest have been really struggling. The fact they couldn't score against Leicester with the chances they had and who Leicester have in goal just says everything. I'm going to give them a goal. I'm going to go 2-1 Aston Villa. My tip is both teams to score at 1.75. This was a little bit of a shocking draw to me, to be honest. 0-0 with Leeds. But look at Forest's recent results. They have the loss against Leicester. They didn't take any of their chances. They lost to Fulham. They lost to Bournemouth. Absolutely through that. I'll give them a goal. Villa should get a win here. I'm going to go for 2-1. So those are my picks. And let's do what I did last time. Once again, on the fly, let's pick my 3 favourite tips. And to be honest, it's probably going to be both teams to score and over 2.5 goals at the Emirates here. And then we scroll up to the top. Chelsea to win and under 3.5 goals at 1.95. And Leicester to win at 2.05. Three very good picks. I was close to going to Man City for goals to add to the accumulator. West Ham win is another consideration. Maybe I'll make it a fourfold. I don't know. But we'll say the official treble is both teams are scoring over 2.5 goals in the Arsenal game, Chelsea and under 3.5 goals in the Chelsea-Wolves game, and Leicester to beat Bournemouth. If you're feeling brave, add in a West Ham win to make a little fourfold. So the treble comes in at 7.33. If you added a West Ham win to that, it comes in at 12.67. That's a really good fourfold. I might make that like an official one as well. So Leicester to win, West Ham to win, Chelsea and under 4 goals, and then both teams are scoring over 2.5 goals at the Emirates. So there we go. That is going to do it for this video. I think there's a lot of good value in here, a lot of good tips. So be sure to drop a like. Feel free to click the join button if you want to get more exclusive tips on Champions League, Europa League, all the European leagues. But last time we added a little accumulator in the video for free. It went really well. So I thought I'd do it again for those that just enjoy watching the videos and aren't able to join. Because I know the join membership is not available in every country. I'm not sure it is anyway. So that's why I'm doing this. But that is going to do it from me. And I'll see you in the next video very soon.